Hello, guys. Now, today I want to talk to you about how to avoid infidelity in your marriage or relationship. Now, we know if you're married and you're in a relationship at all, you understand that infidelity is one of the biggest, it's actually the top biggest problem that relationship and marriages go through right now, infidelity. And then again, the reason for that is not far-fetched. We all understand why people do this, but we can actually avoid these things if we will just pay attention to these things I want to share with you today. Now, according to research and statistics, 50% of marriages today is affected by infidelity. 50% of marriages today is affected by infidelity. And also, before the age of 40, we understand that most couples before the age of 40, 50 to 55% of these couples actually get involved in infidelity before the age of 40. Now, I'm saying this because just to let you know that these numbers is on the rising, is on the increase. Okay, it's serious business right now. So whatever I'm going to be sharing with you, I want you to take it very seriously and implement it in your marriage and in your life from today. I want to be sharing with you 3 B's to avoiding infidelity in your relationship, in your marriage. 3 B's. Now, listen to this. Number 1 is to be intentional. You need to be intentional in marriage, in your relationship. Let me tell you something. Do you know that the first few years of your early stage in relationship and marriage is actually the bracket of the euphoria love? This idea of he loves me, I love him, we are in love. This euphoria of I am in love with this person, he is in love with me. That expires in 2 years. Research has shown that anyone that ever fall in love to marry because they fell in love and they got married, that falling in love experience, that euphoria, that feeling expires in 2 years. Even to some extent, some people have it expired before the 2 years. That's why you see some people after marriage, about 1 year or 6 months down the line, they start having itch, they start having problems, they start having complaints. Why? Because when they were dating, they fell in love. This euphoria, I'm in love with this guy, just took them off. Now, when you are now beginning to find a change in your relationship after you got married, that is a call for you to become intentional in the marriage. We have to be intentional about our spouse's needs. We have to be intentional about meeting their needs. We have to be intentional about loving our spouse. We have to be intentional about being intimate with our spouse. Amidst of all the busyness of life, amidst of all the challenges of life, especially with this COVID and coronavirus everywhere, lockdown everywhere, we have to be even more intentional in taking care of our spouses, in being there for our spouses, loving them, being there to take care of their needs, and also available to share their emotion, share their feelings. We have to be intentional. Many people are not intentional in their marriage. They come into marriage and after a while they just relax. They just leave everything to negligence. They leave everything into chance. So they become negligent with a lot of things. They don't get serious with their partner. They don't get serious with their relationship. You just feel a lot of things just go by. They get too busy at work to pay attention to their spouse. They get too busy with business to pay attention to their spouse. They get too busy with children to pay attention to their spouse. So you see that they are not intentional. We need to be intentional in our relationship. We need to be intentional in our marriage to be able to avoid infidelity. Imagine if you're not intentional in being intimate with your husband or your wife what do you expect will happen? You begin to develop, you begin to nurse and nurture infidelity right there. So that's number one, be intentional. Number two, you have to be available. To avoid infidelity in this period of your life, in your relationship, you have to be available. Many husbands and wives are not available. We have husbands who are not available to their wives. They are at home, they are with their wife, but not available emotionally, not available physically, not available intimately, not available mentally. It's locked down right now. Everyone is going inside, staying in, right? It's locked down. It's coronavirus. It's pandemic. So guess what? A new technology has been released. It's PS5 in all over the place now. PS5 is everywhere. Guess what is happening? Men and guys are sitting on the computer, sitting on the TV, and they be on the game for hours, not being available for their spouse. Not being available for their love, for their husband or wives. Even girls, even ladies. Women are getting so busy with social media now. Go on Instagram. The major profile, in fact, out of all the profile on Instagram, 60% according to statistics belongs to women. Ladies. So 60% of all of the women are on Instagram, Facebook. So there's no availability. Emotionally, no availability. Social media has taken our attention away, and you want your spouse to stay faithful to you? We have to choose. We must be available. We have children and parents who are not available for their children. Work has taken the huge part of them. Are you available to assist your spouse in the housework, in the household, taking care of the kids, taking care of the things and the needs of the house? How available are you? You must be intentional and you must be available. Available for your spouse. Study the needs and the desire. What makes your wife happy? What makes your husband happy? What makes your wife feel loved? What makes your husband feel loved? Study those things and then be intentional about them and be available to do them. Be available to receive and to give. Be available. We must learn to be available. That is number two. To avoid infidelity in your relationship and marriage, you must be available. Then number three, beware. You see, beware of enemies of marriage. Beware of enemies around you. Who are your friends? Let's look at your friends, for instance. Those you talk to, those you talk with. How do they value marriage? How do they value intimacy? Who are your friends? Who do you hang out with? Do you hang out with single ladies and divorced ladies as a married woman? Or do you hang out with single men or unmarried men or divorced men as a husband? Who are your friends? These are enemies of intimacy, enemies of true marriage. How much time do you spend with your children? Do you spend more time with your children than you spend time with your spouse? These are enemies of marriage, enemies of infidelity. Enemies of intimacy. Do you spend more time with your pets? Love your pets more than you love your spouse? These things we must take into action. Beware of enemies. What kind of books do you read? How long do you spend on social media? What is taking your attention away from your spouse? What is taking the time that you need to spend with your spouse and study your spouse? What is that thing that is taking you away from them? These are enemies. Beware of them. So these three things you have to practice if you want to live a relationship that will be free of infidelity. And you do it as a lifestyle. I have told you. Don't say I didn't say it. This is Family Aspect and I'm Charles. You know what? If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you're just new here, I encourage you to do that. So if you'll be watching our video, hit the like button. Move on to the next video and you watch and enjoy yourself. I'll see you again in another video. Until then, peace.